Okay, so I want to tell you about a man named Hans. Hans is from Germany. He saved up for a long time. He flew 11 hours to get here. He landed in KLIA. He was so excited. And then Hans went to a mall, a shopping mall, and bought a bag. Not just any bag, a bag made in France, designed in Paris, shipped to Malaysia, and sold to a German man who flew 11 hours to get here. That bag has never seen a kampung in his life. Welcome to your Inbound Matters podcast. I'm your host, and today we are going to talk about the biggest opportunity for a local Malaysian entrepreneurs right now, and why a war in the Middle East or in West Asia is actually pointing you towards it. Stay with me. I promise this makes sense, inshallah.
Your inbound matters podcast, bringing you insights, making business last. Stay ahead, let success.
Welcome to the Your Inbound Matters podcast.
So let me start what's going on in Malaysia right now. But I think a lot of people are feeling it, but don't quite know how to explain it. So things are getting more expensive. Your electricity bill, TNB bill, your petrol, the cost of running a small business, the price of raw materials if you make things, whether that's food, craft, clothes, furniture, or anything. And you might be thinking, okay, this happens sometimes. Prices go up, it will come down. Okay, but this time is different. I'm serious. This is so much difference. This week, the economic advisor to our prime minister, a man named Nurhisham Hussein, gave a radio interview, and he said something that I think every small business owner in Malaysia needs to hear. Well, he said, this is a supply crisis. It's very different from the crisis that we have gone through before. So in a supply crisis, you cannot spend your way out of it because you cannot buy something that is not there, isn't it? I think this crisis is not about people not having enough money. It is about things we need not being available. The oil, the raw materials, the plastics and chemicals that go into almost everything we make and sell. So when the things you need is simply not there, having more ringgit in your pocket doesn't help because there is nothing to buy with it. Well, Hisham also talked about something he called waves, He said, think about February 2020. Remember that? The news was talking about this virus. Everything seems okay. People were going to work, going to eat, going to the mall, normal life, yeah. And then, badam, much happened. He said, right now, feels exactly like that. Things seems okay for most people, but the wave is coming. You see, the first wave was fuel, petrol, diesel, and the second wave, and this one hitting in July, is when business start running out of the basic materials they need to make things. Like plastic, chemicals, the stuff that goes into almost everything. He said, and this is important, even if the war in the Middle East ended tomorrow, imagine that, it would take at least 6 months for supplies to come back to normal. 6 months, not a short time. 6 months after the war ends, and the war has not ended. So we are looking at maybe end of this year, maybe into what 2027 before things go back to normal. So that is not a short problem. That is a long problem. And if your business depends on getting materials from outside Malaysia, I think you need to hear this. So who gets hit hardest by this? Well, Nurhisham named them directly in this interview. Manufacturing, constructions, agriculture, especially farmers who use diesel for their machines, and tourism. Tourism, specifically the tourism that depends on buses and transport and diesel heavy operations. I want to be honest here, super honest. If you run a small business that make things, if you need to buy materials, if you need packaging, if your costs are connected to oil and chemicals, June and July is going to be harder. Not impossible, but harder. And I know that's uncomfortable to hear. But here's the thing. The advisor also said something else in that interview. He said, the government can only do so much because the government doesn't consume goods. The public does. Business do. So in a supply crisis, the government cannot fix what's not there. So what do you do? What do you do? You build something that doesn't need a supply chain. And that is exactly what I want to talk to you about for the rest of these episodes. So here is the part that I think most people are missing. While all of this is going on, while the supply chain is broken, while the raw materials prices are going up, while business that makes physical things are struggling, 25 million tourists came to Malaysia last year. 25 millions. Not bad, huh? And they spent 107 billions ringgit. With a B, 107 billions ringgit while they were here. Yeah. That is number from our Department of Statistics. Not made up, not rounded. 107 billions ringgit. Now, here's the questions. Where did that money go? And those sums also told us shopping was the number one thing tourists spend money on. And what were they shopping for? You'll be surprised. International brands. Like what? Gucci, Louis Vuitton, perfume made in France, leather bags from Italy. So the money came to Malaysia and then it left. Boop. But here's what I want you to notice. Those same tourists, they also want something else. Something that those expensive brands cannot give them. So they want a real experience. They want to sit with someone who actually grew up here, who knows the real food, who knows the hidden stories, hidden spots, who has a story to tell. And research tell us this very clearly. Tourists say again and again, they want authentic, they want local, and they want human, not AI. So right now, that supply is almost completely untapped. There is almost no competitions. Let me show you the numbers, all right? Because the numbers make things real, eh? Yeah, you agree? A cooking class in Malaysia right now, you can check it on the on Viato or on Klook, is priced at around 200 ringgit to 700 ringgit per person. A batik workshops is about 90 minutes, around 200 ringgit per person. A market tour with a local guide, well, the price is about 150 to 300 ringgit per person. So these are live prices on the platform. You can check yourself that tourists are booking from right now. And it's today. You can check it. So, okay, let's do simple math together, all right? Okay, you run a 2 hours batik workshops. You charge 150 ringgit, yeah? Minimum 150 ringgit per person. So you get 4 tourists today. That is about 600 ringgit in one session today, huh? And you do that 4 times a week. Not every day, 4 times a week. That is about 2,400 ringgit per week. Yeah. From something you already know how to do it without buying a single raw materials, without a supply chains, without diesels, without plastic packaging, without waiting for container ship from the Middle East. The supply is you, and you are already here. So now compare to a business that makes physical product and is waiting for raw materials that may not arrive until 2027. Which one do you want to be? Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, this sounds super nice. But I'm not a tour guide. I'm not a travel agent. I don't have a business. I don't have listing. I don't even know where to start. And that right there is the only real barrier. Because the barrier is not your skill. You already have that. The barrier is not your demand. The tourists are already here. The barrier is not competitions because almost nobody is doing this properly yet. So the only thing standing between you and this potential income is not knowing how to package what you already have into something a tourist can find and book. That's it. Simple. Example, a batik maker who has been doing this for what? For 30 years. She doesn't need to learn a new skill. She needs to learn how to write a listing, how to set a price, how to get it on platform, international marketplace. And home cook who makes best rendang in Negeri Sembilan. Wow, yummy. She doesn't need a restaurant. She needs a booking link and 4 tourists on a Saturday morning. That's it. And a fisherman who knows the coast like the back of his hand, okay? He doesn't need a tour operator license. He needs a well-written descriptions, photos taken on his phone, and connect with the travel agents, a registered travel agents. So the skill is there, the market is there, the missing piece is very small. And it can be fixed in 7 days, inshallah. So that's why I built this Your Inbound platform, a professional platform for tourism players to assist the entrepreneurs, not to teach you a tourism theory, not to give you a certificate to hang on your wall, but to give you one thing. By end of 7 days, a live, bookable, local experience with a real price on the real platform, on an international marketplace. That's a real tourist so that the real tourists can find and book. Okay, So I'm going to break down all those 7 days. Day one, we find your experience idea. What you already have, that tourist will pay for it. Day two, we write your story. Not a descriptions, a story. And day three, we design your experience from start to finish. Day four, we set your price using a formula, not guesswork. Day five, we write your listing with a formula that works. Day six, we publish on the platform, on the marketplace, or your own booking page. And day seven, we get your first booking. Inshallah. That's it. 7 days. One deliverable per day. So the price is not 5,000 ringgit. It's not even 3,000 ringgit. Not close to 1,000 ringgit. It's only what? 97 ringgits. Which, if you run just one workshop with 4 guests at 150 ringgit each, you already made back 6 times what you paid, inshallah. So link is in the show notes. So I want to end with this, yeah. Nurhisham Hussein, the man advising our prime ministers on this crisis. He ended his interview by talking about something called the spirit of coagita. Is it right? Coagita. Taking care of each other. Kita bantu kita. Kita sokong kita, sama kita. So taking care of each other. Not waiting for someone else to fix things. Doing what we can ourselves. I think building a local experiences income stream is exactly that. So you stop waiting for supply chains to come back. You stop waiting for the governments to hand you something to help you something. You build something from what you already have. What is it? Your knowledge, your culture, and your story. And you offer it to the world. So the tourists are coming, they have money, they are looking for you. The only question is, can they find you? Well, I hope after today, the answer starts to become yes. Thank you for listening to Your Inbound Matters podcast. If this was useful, share it with one person you know who should hear it. Inshallah, I'll see you next episode. Take care.